Hey, aloha everyone. Michelle Melendez with blossominnerwellness.com and standtogetherhawaii.com. This is also on the Voice of Kona radio show, which is 100.5 FM. You can log on to that online or listen if you're on the islands. And I'm super excited because I am here with Tracy. She is from Breast Junkie, and she has really opened up so many people's eyes to what is happening with the Lahaina fires in Maui. And Tracy, you were born in Oahu, is that right?
Right, I spent my childhood and teenage years there, but I've been in Los Angeles, Southern California since then. So I guess
So,
more
so
here
this is
than,
the islands are your home. I mean, your parents are still here on Oahu. Is that right?
yeah. It's what attracted me to the story, and just hearing one thing after another, it got me more and more involved and more. I was really just getting really angry. I think that's what kind of prompted me to make these videos. And I've just been making them ever since. And this character we're going to talk about, I think is one of the most intriguing, and I have a lot of information about him that I don't think a lot of people know. So that's why I wanted to do this to give everyone like a really clear picture of who the Maui police chief is.
Yeah, when you said character, that is exactly right. He is acting. These are acting officials, in my opinion, and we're going to be talking about the police chief John Pelletier. And Tracy, I'm just going to let you take it away.
Okay, so thanks, Michelle. I'm going to just screen share.
And just so you know, when this started happening, the anger is what invoked me to get started with all of this too, because it's quite horrendous.
Yeah, and you're going to hear some very interesting facts. Now, I'll start with a little background. This is him. This is when he was with the Las Vegas Police Department. So he started out his law enforcement career with the FBI. So he had graduated from the FBI Academy. Then he went to Las Vegas. He served in this department for 23 years. So he was there for a long time. The most, I guess, significant incident that he was involved with is the 2017 Mandalay Bay mass shooting where 58 people were killed. And that is the largest domestic mass shooting in our history. And he was the incident commander of that. So he was the one in charge of that. So after his time there, I also have this revocation of oath of office, and this comes from Joe Lombardo, who was the sheriff at the time. He's now the governor of Nevada. And this is just relieving him of his duties as captain. So he was captain when he left the department. I can't verify if this was a resignation of firing or just simply a formality for him to transfer as chief, because very shortly after this, actually December of 2021, he started his position in Maui as the police chief. Now, his hiring of this position was quite controversial. So I'm going to just show this is a letter that someone submitted to the commissioner. And so when he became police chief, they amended the statute that requires the police chief to have lived in Maui for at least a year. So it says right here, somewhere right here, he was not required to do that. I can't
And
really find
that's
it right
really
now.
because he also went over, like, there were many candidates who were locals.
Yes, I believe he was one of five, but it doesn't seem like there was a whole lot of vetting. It did seem like he kind of went straight into the position. And this document is also significant because this is a request for him to not get the pay raise that he requested after 50 days on the job. So when he came in, he was making, I think it was like 150 something as a salary, and he asked for $40,000 more. And a lot of people wrote letters saying that they didn't agree with this. They thought says right here, can we wait 6 months to see how things go before we make this decision? There are many officers, it says right here, 15 to 20 years of experience willing to quit without their pension because the morale was so low
Yeah.
at the police department. But what happened was they actually didn't listen to these letters and they gave him $46,000 as a
More. Oh
pay
my gosh. So
more.
$6,000 more than he
Yeah,
asked for.
they gave him more, which is not normally how a negotiation works.
No, it goes the other way.
Yeah, so okay, let me go back.
Wow.
I'm gonna backtrack a little because so this is him with the MPD, Maui Police Department. So something that happened almost 2 months after he started, so very shortly after he took on this position, his personal secretary, Terry Jones, was killed in a car accident. And I'll explain how he explained this tragedy. He said that at 4:40 in the morning, February 24th of 2022, she was with her daughter delivering papers and someone stole her purse either from her car or from her. And she decided to get into her car and go on a high-speed car chase. And this is the actual accident. This is her car. She hit a tree at the base of Haleakala, I believe. And she was pronounced dead on the scene. So she didn't go to the hospital. They didn't try to, I guess they didn't try to resuscitate her or anything. But that was really all I was able to find. There's interviews with her daughter, but yeah, then he did a or a briefing, going over how special that she was to him, how much of an amazing person she was, how she was the first person that she hired as his private secretary. And that is sound very nice. However, they had only worked with each other for maybe 2 months. So it is a little odd that he had this strong emotional attachment to her, but that is what happened. That I
Hmm.
believe that was the day after she passed. So another other things that were happening during his first 7, 8 months on the job, he got 7 official complaints
Yes.
from the department, and they were mainly about creating what they say, a hostile work environment. And a couple of high-ranking officers, including an assistant chief, Clyde Holokai, and a deputy, William Hankins, they retired early because they say it because they were under so much stress working under Chief Pelletier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember reading something about that in the paper as well. I think something, yeah, about the morale was down.
Right. So when he came into the department, things were already not doing very well. Morale was down. They were short many officers, and things actually got much worse when he became chief.
Mm.
So this is the year kind of leading up to the event. So let's fast forward to August 8th, the day of the Lahaina fire. So a couple of unusual things that went on surrounding Chief Pelletier. He was not in the emergency operations center. So
So
when a big,
just so you know, you have your screen shares on the letter.
okay,
Okay.
I
And
don't
you can
have,
always screen share off if you want to. Go ahead.
okay. Well, I'll leave it here. This is kind of, I'm going to get into this very shortly. So he was not in the EOC, which he claims is normal. On the camera, he said that it was appropriate for his deputy to be in the EOC in his place. But later on, we find out that is not standard operating procedure. He is supposed to be in the EOC. He's supposed to be the one of the first people there because his ranking allows him to command over different departments, and you need
Mhm.
that in order to coordinate an emergency response.
Yep.
So when asked that, where was he was at first very elusive, but he said that he was in his own personal command center, but that's really all I know. I don't know exactly who was there, what he was doing, but he was not seen where he was supposed to be. And I believe he told the news that it was appropriate for him not to be there because if he was there, he couldn't do his other job. But I don't know what that other job is. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So another thing that is very suspicious that happened that day is, and this is one of many pictures of roadblocks that the officers were conducting, and they were on all of the main roads going out of Lahaina during the fire. So this is one here, and
This is that's the day of the fire?
yes, this is during the fire. And in addition to this, I know you interviewed Anne, who actually spoke to one of the officers, asking them why they were doing this, right? Why were they blocking the roads? And they said that they were under orders.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of all we know as far as why they were blocking people in.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people lost their lives because of this. They got stuck in their car. You know, they either passed in their car or some of them jumped out and, you know, ran into the water. But this is the cause of many people
Oh my
losing their
gosh.
lives, right? And so he also is caught lying about this because initially he said that there were no roadblocks. He said that his officers were trying to get them out of danger. I believe those were his words. We're trying to get them away from the danger
Mm-hmm.
when in fact they were kept in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So after all this evidence came out, it was undeniable that there were roadblocks. So he backtracked and said, well, yes, there were roadblocks because of the down power lines.
Yeah,
So we do see pictures of down power lines, but we do know that according to conversations between MPD and Hawaiian Electric, they were not energized from very
correct.
early in the morning. I believe like 6 in the morning, HECO de-energized those power lines. So there wasn't really a risk, even if the cars were to pass those power lines. And they're also pictures of the roads clear where there is no blockages, but the
Mm-hmm.
cops are blocking the way anyways. So
Mm-hmm.
what that tells me is there was a concerted effort to keep people in the danger zone and maximize the amount of people that lost their life. So that was one of those facts that really, really upset me.
That's
You know,
murder.
just imagining that, you know, experiencing that and the amount of fear that those people must have been in. And they just thought they were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And, you
And
know,
trusting. They were trusting their police. They were trusting, their where they were at. And yeah, that must have been terrifying. And so what Anne was saying was that the only reason she got out was because she said, I'm not, just go, just go. So the people that did go around the police barricades were the ones that made it to safety. And she also said that she went back. She said they closed it after her and that she went back and there were no obstacles, there were no power lines. And she also
right.
said that the power was turned off from the beginning, from the early morning. So they weren't energized. And so, yes, yeah, I agree with all of this.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share?
Um,
And I do want to let people know that we have sent a complaint to the police commissioner asking him to investigate the police chief based on testimony from people saying that there were these blockades. And he wrote us back and he said there was not enough evidence, that the evidence was circumstantial, not sustainable. Can't remember his exact words, but he said that it just substantiated. Our evidence
mhm.
wasn't substantiated. So what our next step is we will be going to the Board of Ethics, as well as I'm going to write an affidavit. So I'm doing these affidavits, which I'll share at the end. But anything else you want to share, Tracy?
Something that's going on right now is he has been absent from all public appearances. He was missing from the governor's State of the State address. I think he was supposed to be there. He was missing from the march on the 20th where people got together. And he has not been seen either on camera or in public for at least 2 months, maybe even longer. So I do feel like he's feeling the pressure. He knows that he's been caught and he just simply doesn't know what to do. So that's kind of his status as of now.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're on the run, you guys. What happens when you turn the light on a room filled with cockroaches? They scatter. So
Right.
that's, Bisson was the same. He was Peggy Hall. Peggy Hall was saying Bisson is missing. So he was
Mhm.
missing for like a month. He's closed his doors. This is the mayor of Maui. So these people know they've been caught, and it's up to us to stand up and tell them we see you. We know what's happened. This is you guys are going to be held accountable. So yes, anything else you want to share on that? I love it.
No, I think
Great
that's it.
information. So I just want to let people know, go to standtogetherhawaii.com, standtogetherhawaii.com, and click on actions. I am putting the action to the governor, which is the affidavit that shows all of the ways he has violated his oath of office. And it gives you step-by-step instructions of what to do. It is going to take some time for all of us to take action with this. You do have to print it out. You have to get it notarized, sending it registered or certified mail. And then we want to send this also to all of his cabinet. We want a copy, and I'm actually working on the cover letter right now, and it'll be done by the end of this, by the time this video is uploaded, a copy to all of his cabinet members to tell them this governor has violated his oath of office. He's going to be receiving this, and then we will be taking the next step, which is going to federal court. And they need to know that they're next if they violate their oath of office. We're going to be doing that with the Maui City Council, who also has violated their oath of office when numerous people from around the world said, do not dump this toxic waste at a sacred site in Hawaii on Maui, Alualu. And they did that anyway. And then in a report, it said they were pressured to put this through, or they would lose funding, from the federal government. That is fraud, you guys. That is absolute fraud. When you go against the will of the people, you go against your oath of office, you have perjured your oath. That is absolute fraud. So that is proof right there. And also we're going to be, and then the next part. So that affidavit is finished. The one to the Maui City Council, we can send that to all of them. Again, those affidavits, print them, notarize them, get them certified mail, get them in the mail, and we will be taking those next steps. And then to the mayor, the Maui of mayor, I am going to be finishing his affidavit by the beginning of next week, so we can submit that to him, and then also the police chief. So we have work to do. When you are an American citizen, when you are a free person, you cannot just ignore the government and let them do whatever they're going to do, especially when they've murdered people. They've murdered American citizens, and they're still murdering people, and that's around the world. But we do what we can, and this is what we can do. We don't have to sit on our hands and twiddle our thumbs and be mad and not do anything. We take action. That's what I'm doing, and I just want to say mahalo so much to all of you who have already done that, and for those of you who are ready to do something, this is our something. The petitions are great. The protests are really, really great, but our action is also paperwork, is also going and showing them you can't do this, and we will be taking them to federal court. We will, you guys. We got this. We totally got this. Tracy, thank you so much for your
All
time.
right.
Anything else you want to share? Share
Thank you.
your YouTube channel.
All right. Breast Junkie, there's numbers, but I'll link it down below, and I'll link a couple of videos that I did about Chief Pelletier. I have at least 2 or 3 on him if you guys want to see more.
Yep.
So,
I'm going to put your link also in the description. Please follow her. She has amazing videos. I think one of the last ones before was all about how the direct energy weapons, the DEWs. It was incredible. Like when you watch that video, there's no way you cannot understand that Maui
right,
was attacked at all.
right.
So, all right, let's just do a quick prayer. Great Spirit, infinite intelligence of all things, you're really running the show here. And you're guiding each one of us to do our kuleana, what is ours to do. And you're giving us that strength and that courage to take that step, to print these papers out, get them notarized, get it certified mail, get it in the mail. You have this vision for our future of not just the Hawaii Islands, but the world. And that is peace, and it is freedom, and it is making the world a better place with harmonizing and bringing together, unifying all people from around the world. And we know that this is it's quite the journey that we all said yes to, that we all said, I'm going to come forth at this time in history and I'm going to make a stand I'm going to be the light in the darkness that surrounds the planet. And that light that again, the darkness cannot hide from it. It can't. So we just give you so much gratitude, and we give so much gratitude to all people that are standing for freedom, that have protested, that have written in, that have done affidavits, that have just spoken their truth and just shared with people, their close friends and family or strangers. We just give so much gratitude because that is happening. This is like a wave of truth through the people, just going through the world right now to end the tyranny, to end the lies, to end the murder and the torture of innocent people. We call that forth now. We know that it is done. We know that this planet is free. We know that all of these criminal government officials are either stepping down from office voluntarily or peaceably being removed from office, and they are being held accountable. They are absolutely being held accountable. We see that done, and we know it is done through you, Great Spirit, because the force of love, the force of truth, the force of peace, the frequency of that is so much greater than fear, so much greater. And we know it is done, Great Spirit. Mahalo, 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 and so it is. And
All
Tracy,
right,
we just
thank you
send
so
you
much.
so much energy for your way, sister. You're
Thank
really
you.
some of your videos.
And
Much
thank you
mahalo.
so much for all the work you're doing. I don't know how you do it, but thank you so much for putting all the paperwork together and giving people direction as far as how they can get involved. So
Yes,
thank you so much.
absolutely. If you are watching this in your state or even your government has done something against the people, the template I'm using a template that was given by Jack and Margie Flynn, and I believe it's called the Citizens of the Constitution, American Citizens of the Constitution. I'll link their website, but it's a template anybody can use. Anybody can use this. So you just, it's really, it takes effort, but anybody can do this. So, all right. Mahalo, Tracy. I'm going to leave your link in the description, and you are in charge of the recording. So I feel like trying to
Okay,
press recording. Go ahead.
thank
Aloha.
you. Thanks. Sorry.
Yeah, it's up in the left corner.